Hey guys, it's me, Reshki, and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. Last time, we were redecorating. Well, we weren't doing it, but white-haired Maid Chan was invited into Nellie's room to redecorate. Now we're staring at this wonderful painting of Nellie and Mel. And Nellie's asking what white-haired girl thinks of Mel. Let's find out. As I said, he is a gentleman. That's not what I mean. Don't think I'll let you get away with putting any funny ideas in his head. What? Mel is too trusting. He's pure of heart. So I won't stand for you trying to take advantage of him. I would never. So you say. But you actually want to get close to him. I wouldn't dream of it, Lady Nellie. He is a man far beyond my reach. You aren't planning on doing anything, are you? Not at all. And you don't have any romantic feelings for him, do you? Well, do you? I have no romantic feelings for him, Lady Nellie. And you won't develop any. I will not. And with that, Nellie gave a wide, satisfied grin. Even though one has no way of knowing how another truly feels or how they might in the future. You wouldn't, would you? Now that I think about it, there are plenty of other boys. You getting together with Mel is downright absurd. Indeed. But anyway, back to what we were talking about earlier. Your family, I almost forgot. You haven't told me exactly where you came from or anything about your... Lady Nellie, I've brought a new carpet. Just look at the embroidery. The work of a true artisan. I'm simply in love with it. Surely you will find it to your liking as well. Wow, you're right. That's a Florentine stitch, isn't it? I wonder whether someone mimicked the style or if it was imported. Either way, a great find. Let's hurry up and get it laid out. Oh, and we'll have to see how the colors go with everything else. We have to finish decorating quickly so I can show Mel. He'll be so surprised. What wonderful taste you have, Nellie. When the other Abigails returned, so too did the bustle within Nellie's room. As the white-haired girl watched, a faint smile crossed her lips. Perhaps it was from relief at having escaped Nellie's inquisition. Or perhaps... Ah, Nellie, I'm back. Did you eat something you're not supposed to, dearest Mel? You're unusually cheerful. I'm the same as always. Anyway... Never mind that, dearest Mel. Take a look at my room. I redecorated today. So that's what you've been hiding away in the house all day, Nellie? Or that's what you've been doing, hiding in the house all day. How is that any different than what you were doing? You were in the church all day. I guess. I will look at your room, I promise. But first, do you know where the new maid is? Now, don't get any strange ideas. I just haven't had the chance to introduce myself. And I thought I should, as a member of the family. Except you have, and I know it. Being the eldest son, it will be shameful if she were to pass me in the halls, not even knowing who I am, so... Don't ask me. What? But you were in the house all day. She attends to Mother, so why would I know where she is? Though she did help redecorate my room. You made her help? That's work for the men servants. There's no reason to make the maids do it. Oh, so you're saying I should invite a bunch of men into my room? I go into your room all the time, Nellie. And you're in my bedchamber just this morning. Only one man is allowed in my bedroom, dearest Mel, and that is you. So unless you become a servant, which I will not stand for, I will not ask any help from them. Oh, Nellie, you ought to be a little more. A little more what? If you're going to lecture me, I won't hear it. What am I going to do with you, my little lady? What? Why are you looking at me like that? We talked about you, dearest Mel. And I'm not going to tell you what she said. About me? What did she say? Please, Nellie. She said she has no romantic interest in you. Huh? Why did that even come up? Because we're both girls. We talk about things like what kind of boys we like and who's the most handsome. Why do you look so downtrodden, dearest Mel? You look like a sad little boy who can't get his crush to notice him. That face is unbecoming of a prince, Mel. Are you interested in her? That's strange. You haven't even met. I'm not. It's just depressing to find out that someone you've never met doesn't like you. That's all. Poor dude. She overheard. If I'm to make my move, I must do so soon. I don't have much time. The master of the house isn't around, so next in line would be him. That painting. What? Move. What move? I'm intrigued. I love that. That's cute. Despite his near devastation by Nellie's news, Mel's flaxen eyes continue to wander in hopes of catching sight of the girl. By now, it should be quite obvious to you what Mel was feeling. But the boy himself was having difficulty comprehending the things going through his heart. Emotionally, he was horribly unstable, like a ship without a sail. And still, every time he spotted the white-haired girl, his heart would leap, his whole body jitter with anxiety and excitement. He had never felt anything like this before, and as such he struggled to keep these strange emotions in check. Whenever he saw an opportunity, Mel would speak to the white-haired girl. In days he was unable to, either spent in secluded silence or a distracted gaze. Love is a curious thing. It has the power to change those who experience it. When he did manage to approach her, he tripped over his tongue. Again and again he talked to her, and again he stumbled. I imagine if you were to take him to see a romance at the theater in this present state, he would cry just as much as little Nellie. We cry at tragedies because we draw parallels with our own lives. At least, that's what I think. Great tales of romance attain true gravity with the audience only when they are personally familiar with love. In any event, the white-haired girl was, as a result of this, visibly perturbed. She was delighted that he was being so kind to her, but confusion overpowered every other emotion. She appeared to be at a loss for what to do as he clumsily catapulted words and stared at her. But Mel did not back down, though he probably knew not what caused such fiery emotion to erupt from within his breast. One's first love in particular tends to burn like a wildfire. Are you familiar with the sensation, Master? Oh? There she is. Is she cleaning? No, it looks like she's reading. It's now or never. Boo! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Lord Mel, you very clearly meant to scare me. Because you just wouldn't notice me. What are you reading? You looked pretty engrossed. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have asked for permission. It's fine. No need to apologize. Feel free to read whatever you want, and you're welcome to bring books back to your room if you'd like to spend more time with them. But I was just amazed that the mansion had a library. It must have been a lot of work to collect all these books. There are some pretty old books in here, too. Your grandfather's? Some that he collected, and some even older than that. Take a look at this. I think it's a diary. But it's not from this country. Or this century, for that matter. Maybe a feudal lord? Here, he's complaining about the quality of the harvest. Can this forsaken land only produce over sour grapes? If only the largest of the... Barney? Or maybe Bernier? If only the largest of the Barnier estates were mine instead. The land there is much more suitable to cultivation. There you have it. You can read this, Lord Mel? More or less. I've looked over it several times already, so that wasn't too difficult. Why would such an old book be here? I'm not sure. It and all of this was already here when I moved into the mansion. Have you not lived here all your life? I was born at our estate. But to me and Nellie, this is more like our home. Oh my god, I forgot he had a second house. That's right. This is the second house. This is the second mansion. We moved when I was still young, and we've lived here ever since. Nellie and Mother have both grown quite fond of it. Father, though, often goes back to the house because he doesn't like all the roses. By himself? Yeah, well, sometimes Mother goes with him. But for the most part, he goes alone. But don't get me wrong, it's not because they don't get along. In fact, they act more like teenagers in love than grown adults. It almost makes me sick having to watch it. It's a wonderful thing to be so close, no matter how old they may be. True, but still, there are those in the world who cannot be with the ones they care for, as much as they may wish. I'm sorry about that. Oh, that's right. The book. What were you reading? I wasn't exactly reading. I can't. I do not enjoy reading lots of text, so I was looking at the pictures. Is that so? You seem very cultured, so I thought you would be partial to reading. Perhaps you're actually more like Nellie and eschew your studies. Yes. I wouldn't have guessed. But you like looking at pictures? I do. What else do you like? What? What do you enjoy doing? It can be anything. I enjoy being told stories. Stories? Yes. When I was young, my father would tell me tales. What kind of stories did you like? There was one about an imprisoned girl. Tell it to me. It's a weird story to like. But okay, let's hear it. Once there was a girl, and she was locked away in a mansion deep in the forest. A mansion with only one window. That's a crappy mansion. But the window sat high upon the wall, far beyond her reach. So it was always very dark inside, unlike this mansion. However, the girl did not like the outside world. There were lots of scary things out there after all. Though she may have been all alone in the mansion, she grew comfortable with the darkness in time. So she had nothing to be afraid of. And then, am I doing a good job? You're doing fine. Keep going. What happens next? Okay. And then the girl grew up. By then she had already forgotten why she was locked up. But she was content with the darkness. However, her eyes couldn't help but be drawn to the little bit of light that spilled through the one window. Though she was comfortable in the darkness, the sight of the light made her heart race. At first the girl thought it was because she found it unpleasant, because she disliked the light and the outside. But slowly, she came to realize that she was curious about the outside world. What could be happening out there? For all she knew, the town, the forest, the people, all of it could have changed while she was imprisoned in the mansion. But she had no way of finding out. So the girl decided to write letters and throw them out the window. What began as empty grasping became routine, continuing for several months until she finally was ready to give up. But then a beautiful white dove flew in through the window. Tied to the dove's leg was a letter. Her heart racing, she read the words contained within. It seemed to have been written by a man. The letter contained numerous questions for the girl. It also said that if she attached a reply to the dove, it would bring the letter back to him. She was astonished. But she wrote him back anyway, taking care not to mention where she was. After having exchanged letters a number of times, the two felt very close to one another, as though they had known each other for many years, despite never having met. Eventually, the man said he wanted to meet her. Indeed, the girl was unsure what to do. Should she tell him of how she lived? Should she reveal where she spent her days? She was afraid if she did, he would cease to send her letters. She was sure he believed her to be a young lady of noble blood, and not a girl locked away in a house deep in the forest. The girl could not bring herself to write a response. She released the dove through the window with nothing attached to its leg. And yet, it returned with another letter, written in the man's familiar hand. "You must surely have a grave reason for your silence," it said. "I would like to know that reason, and I would like to help you. No matter what it may be, you have my word." She deliberated. Though his letters were kind, she did not know this man. He was from the outside. Would he still treat her the same way when he met her? And did she even want to step out to the world beyond? What do you think she did? wrote a letter and agreed to meet him, right? Yes, she did. The girl made up her mind. She wrote a letter. As always, when she tied it to the dove's leg, it flew out of the window. Out of the window. Out through the window. And for some time after that, she received no response from the man. This saddened her, but she thought it was for the best. She belonged in her own confined world, her world of darkness. But then, one day, light shone into the mansion. The sealed door had been opened, and in the doorway stood a handsome young man. "I have come for you," he said. The man was a prince from a neighboring kingdom. When the girl stepped outside, before her sat a magnificent carriage, the likes of which she had never before seen, accompanied by many servants. The prince, kind as in the letters, swore his love to her, and the two lived happily ever after. Oh, what a nice story. I'm glad it had a happy ending. The prince. Was there something funny about the story? No, that's not why I was laughing. Do you ever imagine what it would be like if a prince showed up for you? Huh? It doesn't have to be a real prince, even just someone like one. Is that something you dream about? Oh, no. I think I'm perhaps a little too old for that. You think so? Nellie still fantasizes about her prince, and she's 14. I just assumed all girls were the same. Lady Nellie's prince? That's you, Lord Mel, no? Is it not? I mean, we used to play make-believe a lot when we were kids, but I very much doubt she still thinks of me that way in earnest. When she calls me her prince now, it's mostly in jest. If it weren't, that would be concerning. Oh. That story, do you know if it's a regional tale or one that's been passed down through the ages? I'm not sure. It could very well be one of my father's own creations. You might think me conceited, but I think the story might be about me. The girl trapped in the mansion is you? You haven't been locked up anywhere before, have you? No, thankfully. I've never been locked up before. Thank goodness. But with an appearance like mine, I can sympathize with her being afraid of the outside world. I have at times imagined how wonderful life would be if it were only me and my father. But the girl left the house in the end. If your father really wrote that story, then I believe it contains his hope for you to end up the same way. Oh? I don't have what it takes to be a real prince and whisk you away, but I can at least pretend. So, if it was your father's wish for you to see the outside world, then surely there's nothing wrong with you getting out and experiencing all the scenery that the world has to offer. I want to see the outside too. Or, to be more specific, other countries. So, if you'd like, we could maybe go see distant lands together. Ah, dearest Mel, I've been looking all over for you. Nellie. Look at this, dearest Mel. Mother bought me these wonderful gloves to wear on walks. The roses embroidered on the wrists are just precious. Oh my, you're right. They are beautiful. You appear to be dizzy, Lord Mel. Are you feeling unwell? No, I'm fine. Oh boy. Mel was feeling frustrated at his inability to convey his feelings to her. Well, he did try. It's just his sister came in terrible timing. And as his frustration built up over time, he developed, I suppose you could call it, a severe case of lovesickness. For several consecutive nights, he had been afflicted with a peculiar sensation. A presence in his bedchamber. What? Okay. That's kinky. Ooh. Death! Okay. Death. That's a perfect place to stop it, I guess. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.